What if the ocean is hiding a creature so massive that science refuses to believe it could still exist? The screen fades in from absolute darkness. A low, trembling hum vibrates beneath everything, the kind that seems to come from somewhere deep below the human range of hearing. Particles drift past the camera like falling ash, suspended in an endless blue void. For a long moment, nothing moves, only the slow pulse of the deep ocean. And then, a shadow, long, heavy, silent. Something too large, moving with impossible grace. Most people think they know the ocean. Waves, beaches, sunlight, salt. But that illusion ends just a few meters beneath the surface. Below that, the world becomes something else. A realm of pressure and darkness so absolute that no human can survive it. A place where light dies, heat disappears, and ancient things still roam, untouched by time. For millions of years, the Megalodon ruled those waters, a predator so colossal that a great white shark, itself one of the most fearsome hunters alive, would barely reach the height of its dorsal fin. Its jaws could crush bone the way we crush a seashell beneath a shoe. Its bite was the strongest of any creature to ever exist. Science tells us it went extinct about 3 million years ago. Climate change, lack of prey, shifting oceans, the reasons vary, but the conclusion remains the same. Megalodon is gone. Or is it? For decades, strange reports have surfaced from the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, the deepest trenches of the Atlantic. Giant shadows under fishing boats, massive bites taken out of whales, military sonar detecting something larger than any known species, and eyewitnesses swearing they saw a shark the size of a submarine. Scientists dismiss these stories as misidentifications. Marine biologists explain them away with data. Oceanographers insist that a creature that large simply couldn't remain hidden. But there is something they all agree on. We have explored less than 5% of the ocean. Everything else, all the darkness below, remains a mystery. So the real question isn't whether science has proven the Megalodon exists. The real question is, has science even looked where it would be? And why do so many unexplained events happen in the very places we've never reached? As we descend deeper into this documentary, you'll discover the legends, the sightings, the scientific evidence, and the terrifying possibility that the greatest predator in Earth's history may not be history at all. Welcome to the abyss.
Long before humans ever mapped coastlines, before ships crossed horizons, before myths were written down, the oceans belonged to monsters. Not imaginary ones, not legends, but real giants, creatures so massive and so powerful that even the apex predators of today would have been nothing more than prey. Among them, one beast reigned above all, Carcasses Megalodon, the largest predatory shark the world has ever known. For millions of years, from roughly 23 million BC to around 3 million BC, the Megalodon dominated Earth's oceans. Its domain stretched across every major sea, from the Americas to Asia, from the warm Caribbean to the depths of the Indian Ocean. And its size? That's where the story takes an unbelievable turn. Most scientific estimates place the Megalodon at 15 to 18 meters, roughly the length of a city bus. But some fossil evidence suggests individuals could have reached 20 meters or more. Imagine a shark longer than a telephone pole, with jaws that could open wider than your bedroom door. Inside those jaws were some of the most terrifying weapons nature ever created. Teeth measuring over 18 centimeters, serrated like knives, thick as a human wrist, and designed to tear through bone, muscle, and even whale cartilage. A single bite delivered over 180,000 newtons of force. To compare, that's more than 10 times the bite of a great white shark. When a megalodon attacked, nothing survived. Its favorite prey? Whales. Not small ones, the ancestors of today's humpbacks and sperm whales. Evidence shows Megalodon hunted them like modern wolves hunt elk. Ambush, crush, bleed, finish. The fossil record is filled with bones of ancient whales, scarred by half-moon bite marks too large to belong to anything else. Ribs snapped in half, vertebrae crushed, tailbones sheared clean off. For a long time, scientists saw these fossils as relics of a long-dead monster, a creature that once shaped the oceans but vanished long before humans appeared. But then, the problems began. Some fossils appeared too recent. Some bite marks appeared on species that should never have coexisted with Megalodon. Layers of sediment didn't match the timeline, and in rare cases, remains were discovered in geological layers far younger than expected, hinting that the Megalodon may have survived much longer than believed. Even today, marine biologists debate whether the extinction date is solid science or simply the best guess we can make from incomplete data. Because the dirty secret of paleontology is this: absence of proof is not proof of absence, especially not in an ocean that hides almost everything beneath miles of darkness. So when scientists draw a neat line that says the Megalodon disappeared 3 million years ago, one question always lingers. What if the timeline is wrong? What if the most powerful predator in Earth's history didn't vanish, but simply followed the prey, the darkness, and the cold into the depths we still cannot reach? And what if the ocean never released its greatest monster at all?
If the Megalodon truly vanished millions of years ago, then the oceans should be silent of its presence. But they aren't. Across decades and across continents, strange evidence continues to surface. Evidence too large, too violent, or too unexplained to match any known creature. Scientists wave the reports away, but they can't erase them, because each piece of evidence whispers the same possibility. Something massive is still out there. The bite marks that shouldn't exist. In 2009, marine researchers studying whale carcasses off South Africa found something disturbing. A juvenile humpback washed ashore with a single bite taken out of it. A bite so wide, it measured nearly 2 meters across. Sharks can leave marks like these, but the size, the depth, the crushing force? Great white sharks simply don't leave bites like that. Neither do orcas. In fact, no known predator alive today matches the dimensions. Scientists quietly cataloged the case, and just as quietly, stopped talking about it. Because the last creature known to leave marks like that was Megalodon. The submarine case in Chile, 1954. During a U.S. Navy deepwater test near the Chilean coast, sonar operators reported an object moving beneath the submarine at extreme depth. It measured larger than a blue whale, the largest animal currently on Earth. And yet, it moved faster. One officer described it as the size of a ship, moving with the speed of a torpedo. The Navy never released an official explanation. The report remained classified for decades. When it surfaced, it didn't include conclusions, only measurements. Measurements that shouldn't be possible for any known marine life, unless something enormous still lives in the dark. The Black Demon of Baja California. Fishermen along the Pacific coast of Mexico have described for generations a monstrous shark they call El Demonio Negro, the Black Demon. A creature longer than a boat, thicker than a whale shark, and completely black. Sightings often include severe damage to boats, missing fishing nets, and wakes powerful enough to rock small vessels. In 2008, a commercial fisherman reported seeing a tail fin nearly 2 meters high rising from the water, higher than any great white shark ever recorded. Marine biologists chalk it up to exaggeration. Locals disagree. The shark with the giant bite. In 2012, researchers tagging great white sharks documented one of the most unsettling findings in modern marine biology. A tagged great white, a massive, healthy adult, suddenly plummeted deep into the ocean, more than 600 meters down, at alarming speed. Its body temperature spiked to over 25 degrees Celsius, far higher than surrounding water. This could only mean one thing. Something much larger ate it. Scientists dismissed the idea of a larger predator. But privately, many admitted the truth. There is only one known creature in history capable of swallowing a great white shark whole, and it's the one they insist is extinct. Sonar shadows in the Mariana Trench. Multiple deep-sea expeditions have reported sonar readings of massive moving shapes at the edges of the Mariana Trench. Shapes too large to be whales, too fast to be geological, and too deliberate to be equipment noise. These shadows appear, move, disappear, as if something down there is watching and avoiding us. Science's uncomfortable silence. Publicly, experts say misidentification explains everything. Privately, many aren't so sure. Because as new technology pushes deeper into the ocean's hidden realms, one truth becomes more obvious. We don't know what lives down there. Not really. Not even close. And every unexplained sighting, every impossible bite mark, every sonar shadow brings us back to one haunting question. What if the greatest predator that ever lived never left?
The ocean is vast, but its true terror doesn't come from its size. It comes from its depth. Because the deeper we go, the less we know. And the less we know, the more the ocean begins to look like a place where anything could survive. Even a creature we believe is extinct. The ocean we think we know isn't the real ocean. When most people imagine the sea, they picture sunlight, blue water, waves, fish, coral. But that's only the surface, the thin, delicate skin of a world far more alien than space. Below that, there are miles of darkness, pressure so crushing that steel bends, temperatures barely above freezing, trenches deeper than Mount Everest is tall. This is a realm where no sunlight has ever reached, a realm untouched by human eyes. And it is in this world, the midnight zones of the ocean, where scientists believe ancient creatures could still exist. Because down there, Extinction doesn't work the way it does on land. Down there, time barely moves. The perfect hiding place. If a gigantic predator like the Megalodon survived, it would need 3 things: space to disappear, enough prey to survive, cold, deep water to avoid detection. The modern ocean provides all 3. Space. The ocean holds 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. Only 5% of it has been explored, which means 95% remains completely unknown. There is more unexplored habitat on Earth underwater than above land, outer space, and underground combined. If something enormous wanted to hide, there is nowhere better. Prey. The deep sea is filled with creatures we barely understand. Colossal squids, deep whales, giant eels, massive schools of pelagic fish, migrating cetaceans moving through the dark. Even today, whales migrate through deep, cold waters, prime hunting territory. Where whales go, predators follow. Cold depths. Most sharks cannot survive the cold, but some can, including giant species like the Greenland shark that thrives in near-freezing waters. If ancient sharks adapted to the cold, they could hunt where sunlight never reaches and where humans never go. Submersibles see things we don't. Deep-sea submersibles, military and civilian, have reported massive shapes moving beneath them. Shadows larger than whales, objects moving faster than biological limits, silhouettes with tails and dorsal shapes, living mass the size of small submarines. But the ocean at those depths distorts everything. Sonar bends, light disappears, shadows elongate. Was it geological? A whale? A false reading? Or something else? The problem with extinction timelines. Science claims Megalodon died 3 million years ago. But here is what scientists don't say. We have no deep-sea fossils. None. The ocean floor shifts too much. Sediment buries everything. Pressure destroys bone. Meaning we have 0 evidence proving Megalodon did go extinct, and 0 evidence proving it didn't. All we have is the surface. Everything below that remains a blank page. A page large enough to hide the biggest predator that ever lived. The abyss that swallows truth. Consider this. We know more about the surface of the moon than the bottom of the ocean. We have mapped more of Mars than our own seas. And in that darkness, that pressure, that forgotten realm, evolution works differently. Time works differently. Life survives differently. Creatures remain unchanged for millions of years. Sharks, octopuses, deep-sea isopods, all living fossils. So why not one more? Why not the greatest of them all? If Megalodon survived, the deep sea is exactly where it would be. Silent, invisible, hunting where light can reveal it, where no human can follow, where monsters can live forever.
If the Megalodon truly died millions of years ago, then the ocean should be silent. But it isn't. Across the world, fishermen, sailors, submariners, and ocean researchers continue to report encounters with something enormous. Something far bigger than any known shark or whale. These are the sightings science refuses to accept, but cannot explain. The naval encounter, 1918. One of the earliest modern accounts comes from a British naval officer, Lieutenant Commander A.T. Bailey. His submarine was patrolling near the coast of Australia during World War I when a massive shape collided with the hull. The impact was so powerful that the crew thought they'd been torpedoed. But when the waters calmed, sailors saw a terrifying sight: a giant shark, longer than the submarine itself, circling them. The commander later wrote, "Its head alone was larger than a man. Its tail rose like a wall of water." Experts dismissed the report as foggy war memory, but Bailey maintained his story until his death. If it wasn't Megalodon, what exactly struck a military submarine? The Tanaka freight ship, Pacific, 1924. A Japanese cargo ship traveling to Seattle reported being stalked for several nights by a massive shark-like creature. Witnesses described a tail fin as high as the deck rail, a body thicker than a train car, an animal that could glide without disturbing the surface. Sailors threw lighted lanterns into the water. They reflected off scales the size of a hand. The captain's log recorded, "A black shape the size of the ship followed us for days. It broke our rudder with a single strike." Marine historians argue it could have been a whale. But whales do not stalk ships, and whales do not break steel rudders. The mysterious monster of 1959. In the Indian Ocean, a group of Australian fishermen radioed a distress call. "Something huge is beneath us, bigger than any whale." When rescuers arrived, they found the boat damaged, deep gouges along the hull, as if something had scraped it with enormous teeth. No whales were reported in the area that day. No collisions, no storms. The fishermen refused to speak publicly afterward, but one crew member reportedly said, "It was black and too large to be real." The 1978 Mariana Trench video. During a deep-sea research mission, a camera tethered to a probe captured only 5 seconds of footage before the lines snapped under violent force. Those 5 seconds showed a pale, massive shape moving into frame, followed by a sudden blur and the sound of metal tearing. The shape is too close to identify, too large to measure, too quick to analyze. The research team described it as a predator of enormous size. Officially, the footage is labeled inconclusive. Unofficially, many who saw it believe it was something alive, something powerful enough to destroy a hardened steel cable instantly. The Black Demon Encounters, 2000s. Modern fishermen along the coast of Baja California continue to report a monstrous black shark far larger than a great white. Descriptions match: jet black skin, bulk thicker than a whale shark, tail fin higher than a man. Multiple boats have been damaged, several nets destroyed, and sonar has repeatedly detected objects at depths too large to be whales, too fast to be geological features. Locals call it El Demonio Negro. Scientists call it superstition. But the ocean calls it something else: a survivor. The Night the Whale Disappeared, 2013. Researchers tagging whales off South Africa tracked a young female moving normally for hours. Then suddenly, her signal dropped 600 meters in seconds. No whale can dive that fast. No known predator drags whales downward at that velocity. The temperature of the tag spiked, a clear indication she was inside something warm.
Then, silence. The signal vanished. Researchers declined to offer an explanation, because the only explanation is the one they refuse to consider. The shadow beneath us. From military reports to fishing vessels, from deep-sea cameras to eyewitness accounts, the pattern is always the same. A creature too massive, too fast, too silent, moving in the places we never dare to look. Science says these sightings are mistakes, but mistakes don't form patterns, and patterns don't last centuries, unless something real is behind them, unless something ancient is still out there, waiting.
Science tells us that the Megalodon disappeared 3 million years ago, but behind that confident statement lies a truth most people never hear. There is no scientific proof that Megalodon is extinct. Only assumptions, only interpretations, only the limits of our knowledge, not the limits of nature. Because the deeper we look into the science, the shakier the extinction story becomes. The fossil illusion. The entire extinction timeline of Megalodon is built on one thing: fossils found in shallow coastal regions. But here's the problem. Sharks don't leave skeletons. They leave teeth. And teeth only fossilize where the conditions are perfect. Shallow, warm water with soft sediment. Meaning, we only found Megalodon where fossils can form, not necessarily where Megalodon actually lived. If the species migrated into deep, cold waters, where fossilization is nearly impossible, we would find nothing. Not because the animal disappeared, but because the evidence can't survive the depths. This is the flaw of marine paleontologists rarely mention. The geological gap the textbooks skip. The last known Megalodon fossils were found in sediment dated roughly 3.6 million years old, and the conclusion is, therefore, it went extinct around this time. But geologists have repeatedly warned that ocean sediment layers can shift, fold, and mix over time. In fact, underwater earthquakes, tectonic movement, volcanic flows, deep ocean currents constantly disturb the seabed. This means fossils can appear older than they truly are. Some have even been found inside younger layers, suggesting Megalodon survived far longer than assumed. But each time this happens, the case is dismissed as contaminated sediment. A convenient explanation, but an unproven one. The whale problem. If Megalodon went extinct 3 million years ago, science must also accept something strange. Whales grew dramatically larger shortly afterward. Many marine biologists argue that whales only became giants because their greatest predator vanished. But other experts disagree, suggesting whales grew larger as a response to cold water migration. If that's true, then the predator extinction explanation collapses, meaning whales may not have grown larger because Megalodon disappeared, but because Megalodon followed them into deeper, colder oceans, just like some shark species do today. The food chain paradox. Scientists claim Megalodon could not survive today because there isn't enough food. But the deep ocean holds colossal squids, migrating whales, beaked whales, deep sea fish schools, giant cephalopods. Whale migrations alone provide a constant supply of prey. If food scarcity killed Megalodon, why did other giant predators like orcas survive? No clear answer. Only assumptions. The cold water mystery. For years, textbooks said Megalodon needed warm water to survive. But this theory has a major flaw. Sharks can adapt to cold water. The Greenland shark thrives in temperatures near freezing. It lives for centuries. It hunts seals. And for decades, scientists didn't even know it existed.
If a massive shark can live unseen for centuries in the dark, why not one even larger? And why not the one that dominated the oceans for millions of years? The silence of experts. Publicly, marine biologists laugh at the idea of Megalodon still alive. Privately, many are not so sure. Because deep-sea expeditions keep returning with sonar shadows, missing tags, unexplained whale injuries, massive objects moving at depth, strange low-frequency sounds, footage too blurry to classify, and readings larger than any known species. Institutions downplay it. Reporters ignore it. Scientists avoid it, not because the Megalodon cannot exist, but because acknowledging the possibility would force science to admit an uncomfortable truth. We are not the explorers of the ocean. We are its strangers. And the creatures that survived for millions of years don't need our permission to remain hidden, especially the ones smart enough and powerful enough to avoid us.
If the Megalodon still exists, then the modern ocean, with all its technology, sonar, submarines, and satellites, should have revealed it by now. But instead, the more we explore the deep, the more questions we uncover. Questions that look less like coincidence and more like traces of something enormous still roaming the abyss. The unexplained supersonar readings. Navies around the world have quietly reported sonar contacts that defy classification. In classified documents later leaked anonymously, operators describe massive moving shapes, unusual swimming patterns, objects larger than blue whales, rapid vertical movement impossible for known species. These signatures are known internally as supermassive biological anomalies. No official explanation exists. But one officer summarized it simply: whatever it isn't a whale. The disappearance of Tag 781A. In 2014, researchers studying great white sharks implanted a special tracking tag in an adult female off the coast of Australia. For 2 weeks, everything was normal. Then, suddenly, the shark dove over 500 meters in seconds. The temperature spiked to 25 degrees Celsius. The tag's pressure readings indicated it was inside something. The signal went dark. It reappeared 4 days later, washed ashore. Experts claimed it was eaten by an unknown predator. But the bite radius? Never released publicly. Many suspect why. The Chilean deep-sea photographs. In 2010, a remotely operated vehicle, ROV, descending into the Atacama Trench, captured a sequence of still images every 30 seconds. In 3 of those images, a massive shadow appears behind the probe, not stationary, but moving. The shape was over 15 meters long, thicker than a whale, and lacked the smooth silhouette of a cetacean. The research team described it as a large-bodied predator of unknown classification. The images were quietly archived, but deep-sea enthusiasts leaked 2 grainy copies. To date, no official explanation exists. The vanishing fisheries of Mozambique. In 2018, local fishermen along Mozambique's coast reported entire schools of tuna and milkfish disappearing overnight. Not dispersing, not migrating, but vanishing as if swallowed. Some fishermen claim to see huge waves forming with no boat in sight, a dark mass passing under them, whirlpools appearing suddenly, torn nets with massive circular holes. Marine biologists blame deep water predators, but great whites don't dive that deep. Something else does. The Pacific Black Depth Site. Near the Mariana Trench, U.S. oceanic research vessels have documented an area informally known as Black Depth, a region where sonar signals behave strangely, currents shift without explanation, and large animals disappear from tracking entirely. In 2016, a research team reported a sonar contact larger than a whale, moving at a depth over 3,000 meters. Whales cannot survive that depth. Sharks usually cannot either, except a few species. Species that rarely see sunlight. Species built for the cold. Species that could have evolved over millions of years to survive in pressure no human could withstand. The Cruise Ship Incident, 2011. Passengers aboard a South Pacific cruise ship reported a massive disturbance at sea. Water rising in a dome shape, a dark shadow beneath the vessel, waves hitting the hull from below, and a deep rumbling sound like an engine under the ocean. Security dismissed it as underwater volcanic activity, but oceanographers later confirmed there were no seismic events that day. So what shook a 160,000-ton cruise ship in perfectly calm waters? No answer has ever been given. The problem with denial. Scientists often claim, if Megalodon existed, we would have found evidence. But the ocean hides shipwrecks, submarines, aircraft, entire mountain ranges, and even volcanic systems. We haven't mapped most of it. We haven't explored most of it. We haven't observed most of it. So how can we be certain a creature evolved to live in darkness isn't still there, watching, hunting, surviving, just as it always has? Because the ocean doesn't care about our certainty. It only cares about survival. And some creatures survive longer than science expects.
The ocean is ancient, older than mountains, older than continents, older than every creature that ever walked the earth. And in its darkest depths, time moves differently. Evolution moves differently. Survival moves differently. Species appear, species vanish, and some never change at all. Sharks have survived 5 mass extinctions. They watched the dinosaurs rise and fall. They watched continents drift and collide. They watched civilizations appear, burn, rebuild, while they remained unchanged. Predators endure, especially the great ones. So when science insists the Megalodon is gone, what they are really saying is, we haven't seen it, not that it isn't there. Because the ocean doesn't reveal its secrets, it swallows them. It swallows ships, crew, submarines, and tragedies. It devours evidence and erases footprints. It hides shadows in trenches deeper than any mountain is tall. It buries truth beneath pressure that crushes steel like paper. Everything disappears there, except the things that belong to the deep. And the Megalodon belongs to the deep. The sightings, the sonar shadows, the missing whales, the impossible bite marks, the ancient instincts of a predator built for darkness, they all point to the same possibility. Maybe the greatest creature that ever lived didn't disappear. Maybe it simply went home. into the cold, into the dark, into the abyss we have barely touched. And if it's still there, hidden in a world we cannot see, we may never truly know. Not until it decides to rise again. Because in the silence of the deep ocean, one truth remains. Extinction is only certain when the ocean allows it. And the ocean is still holding its secrets. If the deep still hides giants, what else might be waiting below? Subscribe to Hidden Myst and join us as we continue exploring the shadows, the legends, and the mysteries science can't explain. Because the deeper we look, the darker it gets. And somewhere in that darkness, the truth is waiting.